You are listening to the Bell Ringers podcast on Philly Sports Reports, brought to you by SeatGeek. Here are your hosts, Colin Daly and Benjamin Goldstein.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Bell Ringers podcast. Colin Daly here alongside Benjamin Goldstein. We are a Kody Clemens, a Gene Segura, a Ben Revere, however you want to spin it. We are just 2 days away from opening DC in the nation's capital. Phillies play a 3-game series against the Washington Nationals. And Ben, I can't speak for you, but we haven't gotten to preview a series for 5 months. I'm really
It's been a
excited.
while. It's
It
been a
has been a
while.
while.
I'm looking forward to it, but it's the best time of the year. We're in the middle of March Madness. We're in baseball season, beginning of the MLB season. We're starting to get some, like, the trees don't look as dead anymore. Like, it is a great time. It is a great time. Everyone should be happy.
Agreed. Yeah, there's a lot going on right now. I got to throw this out here because we were just talking about it. So we've been, the Phillies have been, or not the Philly Sports have been doing we're this jersey number away from opening day. So we couldn't think of any good number. We thought of Gene Segura and we thought of Clemens. So when we Googled it, according to Google's AI, most notable number 2 in Phillies history is Granny Hamner. I feel like between Ben and I, we have a pretty good grasp on Phillies history. I think Ben's more of the history guy. I'm a little bit more of the present Phillies data analytics guy. Uh, but I don't think either of us are familiar with the Granny. Are you, Ben?
No, the only granny I know is my grandmother. Shout out, grandma. But
We need a
I don't know, granny. 50s? Like, was he a whiz kid?
yeah. So 1950, yes, to 1958, he was a 3-time
All right,
All-Star.
all right,
So
there
we
you go.
need if there's any listeners out there who are real whiz kid gurus, we're gonna need.
And if you can name a
Sure.
random number 2 on a Philly, comment it down below. Comment
Yeah,
as many. If you can comment the most random Philly to ever wear number 2, you will get a shout out on the next
there's
episode.
one guy that I talk about pretty frequently on here who did wear number 2 in 2016. It's kind of like our joke guy. We'll see if
We have a lot of joke guys.
we do. We still haven't
Like,
done our competition to see who can name the most random Phillies
no,
in a row.
we'll do it. But I was looking at this the other day. I'm gonna pull this up on the screen, then we got to get going. But
Yeah.
I looked this up the other day, and I was like, you know what? Let's look at the opening day lineup in 2016.
Well, Lord.
Here it is. We got Cesar Hernandez, Odubel Herrera, Mike Franco, Ryan Howard, Carlos Ruiz. I forget Hunter. I forget his first name. I was just looking at it the other day. Peter Borges, Freddie Galvis, and Jeremy Hellickson, who hit in that game.
Hunter. Who's
It's
Hunter?
something Hunter. Let me take this off the
Corey.
screen.
Corey Hunter. Is it
No,
Torrey?
it's not Corey. It's Cedric Hunter.
Who
It is that
started?
Cedric Hunter.
Wow, that's a
13
good
game.
pull.
Cedric Hunter played 13. Cedric Hunter played 13 games for the Phillies. He had 3 hits and 34 at bats. In his career, he went 4 for 38. He played 6 games in 2011, 13 in 2016.
I think that might have been a bit before my time.
Yeah.
I didn't start watching the Phillies until about, I think it was, I watched a bit in 2015 and then like the beginning of the summer in 2016, so like
Yeah,
June 2016.
2016 was my first real I'm all in season with the
Me
Phils.
too. 2016, and then once I watched, I think I watched like the end of the school year, and I watched the rest of the summer for
Yeah, and
weeks and
then
weeks and
Ryan
weeks.
Howard retired in 2016. I was at that game in
I was as
October.
well.
2017 was the Reese Hoskins year. 18, they were like, we thought there was a chance for the first time. 2019, it was fun with Bryce, and then it was bad. And then here we are. We started the pod in
2020 was the
2022.
worst season ever. Like that was
Phillies could have made the playoffs in 2020, but Aaron Nola pitched like crap in Tampa.
Phelps, Workman, Keith Hembry.
Phillies
Yeah,
going up.
those are the balloons I threw up when the season ended. It could have been the worst trade. Kyle Gibson was still in the rotation. That could have been the worst trade deadline this team's ever had.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. And then they
They
fired
thought that
Clentac.
they thought that Phelps from the Brewers was going to fix it all.
Nope.
It didn't do anything.
Nope.
Keith Hembry got DFA'd, and Workman, he wasn't good either.
Brandon Workman was really bad.
He was.
He was. And Joe Girardi went to him every game.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Rob Thompson always went to Craig Kimbrell, and that kind of fell apart. Am I seeing parallels?
You might be.
Anyway, Phillies roster is pretty much complete. 2 days away from opening day. It officially needs to be released at noon on Thursday. But it's pretty much set. Would you like to read the position players and I can read the pitchers?
Yeah, let's do it. Sure. All right, so the should we discuss as we go just to keep it a little bit entertaining?
We
or-
will discuss at the end of when we are talking. So we'll go back.
That's smart. All right, so catching, we'll have JT Realmuto with the backup being Rafael Marchand. First baseman, Bryce Harper. Bryson Stott's looking to have a turnaround year at second base. He had solid 280 average in spring training. Trey Turner was your team, arguably your team MVP last year. He's at shortstop, your third baseman, Alec Boehm. We all know that I have some thoughts on him. And then our outfielders will be Nick Castellanos, Max Kepler, Brandon Marsh, and Johan Rojas. And then the designated hitter, is Kyle Schwarber. And then your utility guys will be Kody Clemens and Edmundo Sosa. Interestingly enough, I think we could see either of those two guys in the outfield at some point this year. They both took some reps there. And I guess we'll start at the utility spot just because we're there now. I think it's going to be really nice having two guys who are true utility players. Like I think in the past, Phillies have had a lot of bench bats. Now you can really pinch hit these guys. If you got a struggling hitter in there, maybe Kepler has, a rough moment. Maybe it's Marsh struggling, Rojas struggling. These two guys, you can really plug them in anywhere in the lineup if you're looking for a pinch hit. I think it's going to be big for the Phillies because they did not have a ton of versatility last year.
Yeah, we saw a little bit of Edmundo in left field in the outfield this spring. They said they were going to try it for years, and they finally did it this year. And Kody, we've seen the outfield at the major league level, so that'll be good. They picked Kody. It was between Kody Clemens and Buddy Kennedy. And they went with Kody. Came out today that the Phillies will now try to trade Buddy Kennedy in the coming days because they're going to have to DFA him if he's on the roster. He's not going to be on the roster. They told Kody Clemens that he's going to be on the roster. So now they need to DFA Buddy Kennedy. So they're going to try and trade him, see what you can get for him. I don't know how much value there is for Mr. Buddy Kennedy. But, maybe they trim to the North Pole and it'll become Buddy the Elf.
Yeah, we'll see. I wouldn't mind that option either.
I prefer Kody over Buddy 10 times
yeah,
out of 10.
Kody can play every position in the field, so.
And he had a pretty good spring. I think
He did, yeah, and he had a good year last year as well. Your DH is Kyle Schwarber. MLB.com, they wrote a feature on the Phillies roster. So really the only question here is where he's going to hit in the lineup. I think, at least for the beginning of the season, we're still going to see him hitting leadoff.
We'll dive into that later because that's a big topic.
Sorry about that. That is a big topic. And in the again, this part's not overly interesting. Your outfielders are what we expected. But let's go and talk about the second base position in Bryson Stott. What exactly are your expectations for him this season, Ben? Because you're a big Stott guy, so I want to know what you have what do you think about this?
I'm a big Stott guy. What was it? The shoulder last year? The elbow?
It was the elbow.
Elbow in May last year in Miami. He hurt his elbow. Oh, little boo-boo. He played through it all year. He had a down year. He's still a great defender. down at the plate. I'm expecting a big bounce back from Bryce Stott. I'm going to pull up Stott's numbers really quick. Give me a second. Last year, Bryson Stott hit
Yeah, I got it right here.
he hit 245 with an OPS of 671, which is well below his career average, which is only really 3 seasons. He's 27 years old. He's not young anymore. I'm expecting a big bounce back year for Stott at the plate. This spring, he hit 268, hit 2 homers, 8 RBIs. I'm expecting a good year from Stott, and the Phillies are going to need it. Like, if Stott, the Phillies have Aiden Miller ready to go for 2026. If Stott underperforms again, has another down year, doesn't bounce back from that injury, you can explore Stott in this offseason and move Trey Turner to second base, bring Aiden Miller up to play shortstop. You're getting younger, and you're kind of minimizing Trey Turner, moving him to second base, not as taxing on the arm, not making as many plays, kind of saving him as Turner's getting older as well. Everyone's getting older, of course. That's how this works. But big bounce back year for Stott. I think he's going to be hitting. I like the 268 average that he had in spring. If he can be around that this season, I'll be happy.
And everything that you just said, in my opinion, also applies to Alec Bohm.
Well, Bomer, he needs to bounce back in not just on the field, but in his
the way he carries himself.
Yeah, his character needs to bounce back as well, I think is the right terminology. But we'll see. We both, Colin and I, you can go back to the pods in the offseason, we're both calling for a Bohm trade, and obviously never happened. His name is slowed down in rumors, and he said he doesn't look at any social medias, and he was getting text messages, and he didn't even know what was going on, which I find kind of bizarre. Like, you don't even know that you're a trade rumor, whatever. The guy got benched in the postseason. That's the biggest question for this Phillies offense is Alec Bohm. He's going to be your 3-hole or your 4-hole hitter in 2025. And he's your biggest question mark. So we'll see what you get from Alec Bohm. I think he's had a fair spring. I haven't been blown away. He's hitting 370, which is pretty good. 3 homers, 8 RBIs. So a 1+ OPS, 1.042. Defense isn't great, but if he can hit, I'm good with it.
Yeah, the other thing, and you mentioned while we're on this topic, I think there's a little bit more pressure on this Phillies club this year internally. Justin Crawford, it was announced yesterday. Or sorry, was it yesterday or today? I can't remember. I think it was yesterday. That he's going to be starting this. Yeah.
When this goes up, it'll
Monday.
be today.
It was Monday.
So, or today, we're recording on Monday, so Sunday.
Sure. Yeah. I don't know. The days confuse me. I don't even know.
Sunday it was announced. Today. It was announced on Sunday. I can guarantee you.
Oh,
Justin Crawford's going to be.
So 2 days ago.
Doesn't matter. Justin Crawford is in AAA.
Yeah, so he's going to be starting in AAA. You've got Aiden Miller on these guys' tails, and you have Andrew Painter, who's healthy. Oh, goodness. Andrew Painter, who is healthy this year. I'm struggling today, Ben. Between those 3 guys, I think it's going to add a little bit of internal pressure. We haven't seen that the past few years. Miller's not ready. Crawford wasn't ready. Painter was on the shelf. Griff McGarry and McAble, they were the 2 main guys in the minor leagues. They were struggling. The other guy, Gabriel Rincones, we saw him in the spring, and he was good. He is quickly rising through the farm system as well. He'll get some time in Lehigh Valley this year, if not the big league club. Honestly, I hope we don't see Gabriel Rincones Jr. at the big league club this year, because that probably means something didn't go.
Something went terribly wrong.
As planned.
Yeah.
Because he's a little bit redundant behind Bohm and then eventually Aiden Miller in that left side of the infield role. He could DH. He has dabbled with the outfield a little bit, but I think that if he plays the way he did in spring training, that pressure will mount as well with him. So hopefully that pushes these guys a little bit. Know that their jobs are not going to be guaranteed for the whole season. And other than Harper and Turner, I don't think anyone on this team, at least on the starting 9 in the field, have a guaranteed spot. Maybe
Well, I
Real
mean,
Muto.
maybe after this year are guaranteed to be wearing red pinstripes. And this is the last year for this core, so anything's up. And I feel like a big sign of that, we want to jump to the catchers, is Phillies send Garrett Stubbs down to AAA. Rafael Marciano is the backup. Shows you nobody's safe. It's Philly's message here. I mean, you look at the options is a thing, but I not only is this a message to Stubbs that he needs to get better because he just hasn't been good enough in the majors. Everyone's being held accountable. Nobody's safe. The hype man backup catcher, that doesn't matter. Backup catcher position doesn't matter. He's in AAA. Obviously matters. Every position matters in baseball. And if you're not performing on the field when the Phillies need you to, adjustments will be made. And that's what I'm getting with this Stubbs move. Yes, Stubbs does have an option. Marchand is not have an option. Probably why they did it. I like it because that makes sense. But I mean, this is more than just that. This is more than just the options. This is, nobody's safe in Philadelphia. Everyone's on the hot seat. Not really.
Right. And I think that's what's having these guys that are actually producing, higher up in the farm system is really gonna do to the starting 9 for the Phillies. It's gonna push them a little bit. All right, Ben, do you want to give us the rundown on the rotation in the pen?
All right. Your starting pitchers, your starting 5 in the order of the starting rotation. Your ace, who is starting on Thursday, Zach Wheeler. Jesus
Shocker.
Luzardo will get the ball on Saturday. Aaron Nola will get the ball on Sunday afternoon. The home opener on Monday, still weird, will be Christopher Sanchez.
Oh, I like
And
that.
your 5th pitcher is not Ranger Suarez, who is on the injured list, which we will talk about. It is Taijuan Walker. Taijuan Walker, welcome back. He will be starting opening night for the Phillies on Wednesday night. So not this Wednesday, the following Wednesday, where they do the T-shirt, will be Taijuan Walker. Your bullpen, in no particular order: Matt Strom, Jordan Romano, Jose Alvarado, Orion Kirkring, Tanner Banks, Jose Ruiz, Joe Ross, and the new guy, Carlos Hernandez, who the Phillies signed or picked up on waivers from the Kansas City Royals. Can throw upper 90s, has had success.
Can't throw a strike, but we'll get there.
Yeah. Well, he's here for now, and then when Rangers ready, Taijuan will go back to the bullpen, and Carlos Hernandez probably be gone unless he finds success, and the Phillies will have.
Yeah, and he could. He wasn't actually all that bad for Kansas City last year. Obviously, the AL Central was not overly strong, but he was a semi-successful major league pitcher. And I feel like when those guys who can throw the upper 90s fastball, they can touch triple digits. Those are the guys who, at the end of the day, like they have a pretty high ceiling. So we could have struck gold with, we haven't had that with our bullpen very much. We had it with Jeff Hoffman. He was our one guy of late that we've really just picked out of nowhere, right? But other than that, we talked about it before the podcast, right? Or was that before or well during? I can't remember. But Brandon Workman, Phelps, and we've picked up all these guys who we thought could produce in the bullpen. Matt Moore, and then we struck out time and time again. So
Matt Moore. Whew.
yeah, Chase Anderson, moved him to the bullpen for a while.
What was that, 2021? Those were 3 back end guys, or 3 back end rotation. What were
Yeah,
we thought we were gonna be good.
Kyle Gibson, Matt Moore, Chase Anderson. I don't know what we were doing, but
Injured list to start this year will be Ranger Suarez and Weston Wilson. Weston Wilson has the oblique, and he should be back within the coming weeks. Ranger Suarez is projected to miss 3 starts, I believe, is what we're saying. Dave Dombrowski said if things continue to progress, that Suarez, quote, would pitch sometime in April, but he needs to be built up again. He said you're talking 3 weeks or something at least. So 3, 4, 5 starts for Ranger out, and that opens the way for Taiwan Walker. And he had another bad start on Monday in the final game of spring training. He ends his spring 5 starts, 17 innings, 7.41 ERA, and 8 strikeouts with a whip of 1.82. Yeah, man. We're playing the Taiwan Walker game again. It's just like we can't escape. And it's something that says with the Phillies is I've been finding ways that the Phillies have been frustrating me that I haven't really thought about before. Is they are very scared to have the uncomfortable conversations. And you need to have an uncomfortable conversation with Taiwan Walker that, dude, you're just not good. And there's no place for you, and you need to explore a separate route. Phillies don't have those conversations with their guys. Like Phillies aren't, Trey Turner needs to turn it around. They're not having the conversation. Phillies want to have the conversation. There are internal things with Alec Bohm. Phillies apparently weren't exploring Alec Bohm at the offseason last year. It's an uncomfortable conversation, but it needs to be had. And the Phillies won't have those uncomfortable conversations with their guys. And it's another example of it here with Taiwan Walker.
Yeah, the Phillies don't really like to part with their big names in a fair deal. That they kind of get a sense of over loyalty, which is good in some situations, but could come back to bite you in others. And I'll tell you, the whole Taiwan Walker thing, we've touched on it so many times, but it's infuriating, right? What do you say, 1.89 whip?
1.82.
Yeah, okay, so 2 base runners per inning against minor league hitters, that's not going to cut it. Now you're going to see major league hitters. Now there's going to be twice as many people in the ballpark. And now the numbers that are going on the scoreboard actually have meaning once the game ends. So that translates to your record. That translates to the standing. That translates to the banners that are hanging in your stadium. So he's not going to get better. I don't know. I don't know what they're trying to show anymore. I mean, it's frustrating. Really is.
Tyweezy. Yeah,
Wow.
so I mean, it's another thing with Ranger. The guy can't stay healthy. This is it for Ranger. This is a do or die year if he's going to beat the Philadelphia Phillies or not. It's another unhealthy Ranger season, and it's the back again. I saw it a few years ago. The back saw it last year with the back. It derailed the season. It popped up again this spring. It's an issue, and Phillies this is probably it for Ranger Stars with the Phillies in 2025. The back just keeps on coming. So
I've been a big Ranger Suarez fan since I think it was his rookie year in 2018. He was pitching out of the bullpen, and I never thought he got the love he deserved. And I, I, he's always been one of my favorite guys in the team. But I don't think that re-signing him, he will want and deserves a really good contract. But I think it's a bit too big of a risk. So he's been a really good pitcher, like a really, really good pitcher. But with the injuries, the inconsistencies, and then how we've seen his results when they're compared prior to and after recovering from injuries, is a pretty big contrast that we sometimes choose to ignore. So I think this is going to be it for Suarez and Philly.
and look at what's under him. Andrew Painter will probably be ready to go by July in the majors. Trade deadlines in
Right.
August. Like you look at that, that's not helping Rangers' case at all. So
No, especially if he's successful. We got the Jesus Lizard now, as we like to call him. Um, who's a pretty solid piece to have in the rotation. And then we got Nola on contract, Wheeler on contract, Sanchez on contract. It's not a lot of spots open, so he's gonna have to prove himself this year.
it'll
He's
be
not off
without.
to a good start.
No, it's not. It'll be without 3 weeks. So we'll have some fun with Tom and Walker, and Want to
Oh,
hear? We
Lord.
talked about it a good amount in last episode about the Stubbs Marchand thing. Seems to be the number one thing. There's an uncomfortable conversation the Phillies had with Garrett Stubbs. Stubbs went on the Phillies show with Todd Zalecki and said, "Down in Piggyland, we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna win some games down in Piggyland," is what he said. So
When
Stubbs
was
is taking
that?
it, huh?
When was that?
Earlier this week, or I guess late last week, he was like, "Yeah, we're down in Piggyland. We're gonna have some fun." So Stubbs is ready to wear the bacon hats on Sunday. I'll tell you.
You know what? He'll embrace it, though. He really will. I fully believe that. And I think he's going to be a lot better, too. So he'll be with the big club at some point this year. And I think
Stubbs,
he
where are we at?
had a decent spring.
Yeah, he had 286 with 2 doubles in 10 games. Marchand 250 and 28 plate appearances before last Thursday's game against the Braves. I haven't checked since. Stubbs outmatched Marchand in spring, which it was always going to be a battle. But Marchand had the upper hand because Marchand doesn't have any options. So they ultimately gave it to Marchand, but you
Plus,
look at it.
Marchand was pretty good in the majors last year in the short time he was up.
Yeah, Marchand has a better OPS in the majors than does in the minors. So
Yeah. I'm sure I've mentioned it on here before. My favorite Marchand memory, when he came up in 2020, he hit a home run against the Blue Jays. And that was, remember this? They were putting up the cardboard cutouts.
his first professional home run.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Over 1,000 plate appearances, I think it was. He hadn't hit one. One of his first at bats in the big league. He puts one out to the stands in Citizens Bank Park, and they didn't even make a cutout for the poor guy. You know how they would remember they'd replace the
Yeah.
fans cutout with a player who hit a home run into that seat. So they like got a blank one. They drew a smiley face on it and wrote Marchand 13, and that was the end of it. I think he was 13 back then.
Did you have a cutout?
No, I did not.
I did.
Oh, guys.
Mine was all the way like the last row behind the Phillies dugout, and I was never able to go pick it up from this after. So they like displayed my cutout at the third base gate next to Pass and Stowe for like the 2021 season. And then I was supposed to get it after. They were supposed to, I was supposed to coordinate something to get it. And they threw it out. Never got my cardboard cutout back.
Oh,
So,
that's ridiculous.
yeah, it was
Maybe your graduation gift from me is I'll remake you a cardboard cutout with your face on.
that's okay. I don't need a cardboard cutout of me hanging up. They will put it
That's
right behind me.
that's why I didn't get one. I don't know what I would do with it.
Another story note: Johan Rojas channeling his inner Michael Jordan this year. He's going to be wearing number 23. Rojas was 18, now 23. So
That's interesting.
there you have it. That's what it looks like. If you're not watching the video portion and you're listening online on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever, picture number 23 on a Phillies jersey. It doesn't look. Jay Bruce wore number 23. Jeff Hoffman wore number 23.
Oh, okay.
That's bad that Jay Bruce is the first name that's coming to my mind. But yeah, number 23, Johan Rojas. So, I think it's kind of ironic. He kind of flies like Michael Jordan out in the outfield. So
Yeah, it's appropriate.
I like this comment. It represents his goal of getting his 180 average up to 230 this season.
There you go.
So
That is a good goal. Yeah. All right, Ben, let's talk. I want to talk about the National Series, but before we get to that, can we touch on the lineup real quick? I want to hear your thought. I don't know if I have an opinion right now. I want to hear what you have to say.
all right. So Rob Thompson said he is still tinkering with the lineup, and it might continue into the season. Topper said it could be against a lefty. Trey Turner leads off, and against a righty, Schwarber leads off. But the top four is going to remain the same. It's going to be Schwarber, Turner, Harper, Bowman, your top four. But against the lefty, it could look like what it did in the last game of the Grapefruit League, which was Monday. So that lineup was Trey Turner, Bryce Harper, Alec Boehm, Kyle Schwarber, JT Realmuto, Max Kepler, Nick Castellanos, Bryson Stott, and Brandon Marsh. So you got right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, left. And then you turn it over and it's a right-handed hitter. So that's what it's going to look like on opening day. Mackenzie Gore is a left-hander the Phillies are facing opening day. So that's your opening day lineup right there. You got Trey, Bryce, Bohm, Schwarbs, JT, Kepler, Casty, Stott, Marsh. That's what's going to look like against a lefty. Against the righty, it could change. It could stay the same. I don't know. You could see. I mean, of course, Schwarber. This is what's going to look against a righty. Schwarber 1, Trey. It's going to look like what it always has. Schwarber 1, Trey 2, Bryce 3, Bohm 4, and then it could be Kepler 5, JT 6, and then maybe Stock gets moved up or they move something else around so they can do the righty lefty. We'll see how it looks on Saturday when I think the Phillies are facing a righty. I'm sure they're facing a righty. I'm not sure who the Nationals have going on Saturday. But like this is another problem I have with the Phillies is like they don't give anything a shot. I wrote about this earlier this week on phillysportssports.com. You should all go check it out. The Phillies' incapability to have a plan and stick to it that's like an experiment it's pathetic. Like I look back on the amount of times the Phillies have told us that Brandon Marsh can hit lefties. Okay, let's look at the sample size that we're looking at. Brandon Marsh has been with the Phillies outside of 2022. So let's see, 2023. Since 2023, Marsh has only faced 174. Has only had 174 at bats against lefties.
And he's been decent too.
648 against righties. 174 is not a big enough sample size. That's like 2 months. That's not enough in 2 years. It's not.
Same goes for Stott, right?
Same thing for Stott, but I was going with Marsh more because we see Stott a little bit more against lefties. But Marsh, he has been a platoon spot out in the outfield with Rojas and Austin Hayes since 2023. And it's really like they don't stick to it. They never have a plan. They stick to it. Trey Turner led off in 2023 for 2 weeks, and then they went back to Schwarber leadoff. They don't give it's Rob Thompson and the Phillies organization. They don't give things a chance. And what they're doing here by constantly changing the lineup and never sticking to something and trying it, it's really like infuriating. It's not infuriating. It's frustrating. I think is a better word for it. Frustrating. It's the amount of time you need in baseball for game reps to really see if something's working is like a month and a half, 2 months. The Phillies I don't think I've ever seen anything with the Phillies longer than like 3 weeks. They try something and then it doesn't click automatically and they go away from it. Baseball season, there's 162 games. If you spend April and May testing Trey Turner leadoff, your season's not gonna be over. If it's not working, then you can go back to it.
And it's not going to change the outcome of that many games.
The Phillies are scared to try new things, and they haven't won the World Series. Schwarber leadoff obviously ain't working. Look at like the average batting average among the Phillies in like the NLCS in 2023, the NLDS in 2024, and the World Series in 2022. It is not good. Something's not working when it needs to, and it's the one constant has always been Schwarber leading off. I love Schwarber leadoff. I love starting games 1-0. I love Kyle Schwarber. There needs to be a change. Something needs to be changed. You can't do the same thing over and over and over again if it's not showing true results. Yes, they won the National League East. Yes, they won 95 games last year. Yes, they've been one of the best teams, if not the best team in the National League over the past 4 seasons. There's no World Series. I don't see no new red flag in the outfield at Citizens Bank Park. There needs to be a change. And I think Trey leading off is the perfect leadoff hitter. He's fast. He gets on base. He's stolen like 92% of the bases that he's tried. Give him a shot, man. Give him a shot. He had 9 opportunities to lead off this spring, or 10, including Monday. Schwarber led all 5 games in a row. It's not fair. It's not a big enough sample size. It's not like But I don't know. I feel like I'm talking in circles at this point. But like,
No, I
give it a
understand what
shot.
you're saying.
Give it a shot. Phillies
They're
are
the
scared
same
to do it.
way. They always, and it's that, and they always want to find the easy solution. And we've talked about this before, and it ties back exactly to what you were saying. When the Phillies lost an outfielder, and I think it was April of last, no, that's a lie. June of last year, their immediate solution was, let's call back up Johan Rojas after less than 2 weeks in the minor leagues. You got to find someone else. Like that was an experiment too, right? He needed to learn
Mhm.
how to bunt. He needed to. We talked about this a lot in the last episode.
Yeah.
He needed to learn how to hit off of that unique level of pitching that you'll find in AAA with that seasoned veteran approach, but with a little bit of an easier pitch to hit. And they just that whole plan got scrapped, right? The 2 weeks he spent in the minor leagues, it didn't do anything. He got that. It probably actually made him regress because you're not going to gain anything from 11, probably what, 10 games of AAA.
If
You're
that.
not getting anything. Yeah, if that. You're not getting anything from that. Like, if that was their plan, they need to stick with it. He should have been their last option to come back up. And they weren't in a win now situation. It doesn't make sense.
It's a problem. Like Rob Thompson's great. He's won the Phillies a lot of games. His bullpen decision making isn't always the smartest, but it always ends up working in the end. But there are some calls that hit in his tenure that the Phillies have made that
And they don't
really
all
show
fall
you,
under
it
him.
really shows you why it took him like 30 years to become a manager.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about this opening weekend series a little bit. Something interesting that I guess is worth pointing out. The Nationals will be debuting their new City Connect jerseys. I saw that earlier today.
Ooh.
They are, have you seen them?
I have seen them. I'll pull them up for those who haven't. They got rid of the cherry blossoms too quick. Those
I
were
love those. They were
so
great.
this is I think they're calling it
The blueprint,
the blueprint. That's right, the blueprint. So it's hold on, I'm pulling it up. It's an outline of Washington D.C.
on the
Here,
jersey itself.
yeah. So here's the jersey for those who haven't seen it. So you can see the map of DC, and then down here there's the W, which is for where Nationals Park is, which I think is kind of cool. The hat is pretty much cherry blossom, just blue. It's very blue. They're all right. I mean, I like the classic interlocking DC, but it's okay. Like it doesn't blow me away. The cherry blossoms were so nice.
Yeah. And they've still got a little bit of it in there, right? On the sleeves, it looks like the socks. There's some pink in there. The sleeves have it. So it's good to see. Um, but in a
So
little less
are they wearing those this
they're
weekend?
wearing them opening weekend.
Okay.
They didn't say when, I don't think, but at some point they said they will wear them
Okay.
between Thursday and Sunday. So we will get to see. And other things are a little bit less fun, more serious. Mackenzie Gore, the lefty, will get the ball on Thursday from the Nationals. He is an interesting pitcher to watch because his overall last year, he allowed a lot, fewer runs across the plate, but he threw less strikes. He allowed more guys on base, and opponents at a higher average off of him. So it's a little bit tough to see where Mackenzie Gore stands. Whether I don't think he's ace material yet, but he's definitely trending more toward that direction than he was in 2023 in his rookie year with the San Diego Padres. So again, time will only tell. Sorry, did I say 23? I think I meant 22. Um, yeah,
Yeah,
I was right.
Mackenzie Gore is an
2022.
interesting case. I like Mackenzie Gore. I like,
I
from
do as well.
Phillies seem to
Yeah,
face him a good amount. The Nationals will be wearing these jerseys Saturday and Sunday.
oh, okay.
So
There you go.
we're gonna get blasted
I
with a
missed
lot
that.
of blue. Pause. Following these dates, they're gonna be wearing the uniforms Friday and Saturday home games. So we'll see him a good amount.
Oh my, that's a
That
lot.
feels like that's a
That's a
lot. There
lot
needs
of.
to be one day. Oh, we can't be wearing the City Connects multiple days a week. This is a special
What
thing.
the heck?
It happened one day.
Yeah, no, I'm
Friday
not
and
a fan.
Saturday. We're too much, man.
They
Too
messed
much.
that up.
Way too much.
Yeah, that's broken.
Do you
That's
have the
broken.
pitchers for the who's Washington throwing this weekend?
They
Saturday.
haven't released their rotation in full yet.
Nope.
According to MLB.com, they don't have a roster that I can find
What are we doing?
on the site. So we'll have to see how that shakes out. I mean they've got here. I think Thursday should go well for the Phils. They've got some guys, Castellanos, Real Muto, and no, it might be Turner. I know those three guys in particular have had some success off of Mackenzie Gore. And I mean, the Nationals aren't going to bring too much to the table. Their lineup looks a little bit different this year. I mean, you've got Dylan Cruz in there, which he'll be fun to watch. Paul DeYoung, in addition to the Nationals lineup. Josh Bell is in there once again, and I know he's just terrorized the Phillies over the past few seasons. He's brutal, man.
Yeah, he doesn't like us. But here's the projected opening day lineup. This came out over a month ago, or projected starting rotation. This came out over a month ago from MLB.com. Mackenzie Gore, right-hander Jake Irvin, right-hander Michael Soroka will be the three, and then Mitchell Parker and Trevor Williams. Now, Washington's an interesting case this year. They got some guys here. You said C.J. Abrams, Dylan Cruz, James Wood, Nathaniel Lau is a great player, Josh Bell, Luis Garcia, keeper. Like, there are some guys in this lineup that can do damage. This rotation is
Scary. Not like scary as in they're going to do well, but if you're them, it's a little bit scary to look at when you're out there
it's
standing in the
not great,
field.
but the lineup is pretty. Like, this lineup can do things. Like, this is not going to be a bottom feeder team in 2025. Will they be over 500 and be in contention for a playoff spot? No. Could they be eating at that last wild card spot? Maybe until like August, but Washington isn't going to stink like they have the last few years. They're going to be competitive
No.
this year. They'll be hovering around 500 for pretty much all year. And I mean, they're going to be. This is going to be the best fourth place team in baseball in a division.
Yeah, and even the end of last year, I think we saw them get a little bit better. I mean, Washington used to be the team that Phillies could go in, play, and they would sweep the floor. Last year, I think they gave them a little bit more of a run for their money toward, July, August, September.
Yeah, they got that. They put out that graphic. Beating Philadelphia isn't as hard as Philadelphia say it is. Ever since then, Phillies have done well. What do you think? What's your if you had to? I think the over under for Phillies wins this year, since this is our last pod before opening day.
Oh, that's right.
Phillies over under for wins in 2025, 91.5. Over under.
I'm taking the under.
Ooh, how many do you think?
89.
89. Okay, so where is that in the NL East?
Wild card team.
Is that Is that second or third? Second?
Second,
in
yeah.
In the NL East, second. So the Mets will be the third.
Mets always collapse. Come on now. Come on. They could
I'm
have
gonna
Shohei Ohtani and Juan Soto. They'd still collapse.
I'm going to take the under on the 91.5 because I'm saying the Phillies are going to win 91 games. They're going to win 91 games. That's second in the division. The Braves will have like 95, 96. Mets will be 88 wins or so. Phillies will have the top wild card spot. Mets will have probably the third. Then Arizona kind of around there. But we'll see. I think Marlins lose over 100. Nationals 4, Mets 3, Phillies 2. Braves are healthy again. They're number 1.
Yeah. All right, Ben, there's one more thing on our podcast agenda today. Haven't done it for a while, but you got to give me predictions for the next 3 games.
Oh boy. All right. Opening day, Wheeler versus Mackenzie Gore. Wheeler throws a gem to start the year. Kind of had a weird spring. Like he had like 2 blow-up games, which were kind of weird. I think the Phillies win. Phillies take game. They're going to start the season 1-0. So I got the Phillies winning game 1. Game 2, probably Jake Irvin against Jesus Luzardo. Luzardo had a pretty bad spring. I don't think it's going to continue into the regular season. I don't think it's anything to be worried about. But I think the Phillies win game 2. I think Luzardo throws a serviceable game 2, a serviceable like 5-6 innings. Phillies get to Jake Irvin. Game 3, I think the Phillies lose game 3. I don't think they sweep opening weekend. Every time they sweep opening weekend, they like have a bad year. So I think the Phillies.
I remember. Was it 19 with Kapler?
Oh yeah, that was the greatest
They had
opening weekend ever.
against the Braves too.
Yeah, Harper's first weekend, we crushed them in opening day, and then the Saturday was murder, and then Sunday, it was Sunday night, and the Phillies won. I remember it was really
Yeah,
cool.
and then they won. They won the first game of the following series, and they're the only 4-0 team remaining at that point.
Yeah,
I think in the National League.
and
And
then I
then
think they
nothing
crashed
went
them.
well from there.
Yeah, and then they crashed them. So I think the Phillies win Thursday, win Saturday, lose Sunday, and they
That's
start
fair.
season 2-1, and then they go back home, and we have some fun. Big thing for the Phils, their first 2 series, Nationals, Rockies, and then it's Dodgers, Braves right after.
Yeah, gotta capitalize now.
You gotta strike hard. Pause in the first 2 series. So and then do what you can. Early turbulence for the Phils against LA and Atlanta. And you're in Atlanta too, so it's tough.
Oof,
At least it's warmer.
that's not fun. True. You know who will love that? Aaron Nola.
He likes the warmth.
I love it.
I don't know if he'll
I
pitch though, 'cause
think.
he will throw against I think he's pitching Saturday against the Dodgers, so I don't know if he'll even.
Well,
That means we're going to Taiwan Walker against the Braves.
he'll like it from the bullpen then when he has to
Okay.
throw his one bullpen out there. But well, yeah, the Dodgers will be warm in California anyway, so
Well, we're home.
that's
against them.
home.
We're
Yeah,
home.
that's where they're right. Whatever. He'll get his heat eventually, but yeah, I'm on the same page as you. I think they're gonna take 2 of 3. I have them winning games 1 and 3 instead.
Okay.
I feel like pitchers always struggle. Like when you get a good pitcher, I feel like they always struggle their first few starts with the Phillies. So
I don't know.
I agree.
Wheeler's always that dude doesn't have a bad game. Is
No,
this
no,
the
I
Wheeler
mean
Wheeler Cy Young year? Is this the year?
Sanchez Cy Young year.
Okay, I'm in. I'm on that train. I'm on the Sanchi train.
Mm-hmm.
Don't mind if I do.
Yeah, I think they'll struggle a little bit on Saturday after a big win on opening day. They're going to come back firing on Sunday. That'll be Rafael Marchand's first game of the season. I'm calling that now. He's going to come out. He's going to get a big hit for us.
Okay.
We're going to have a Schwarber home run first Sunday of the year. Sundays with Schwarby, and then Rafi Marchand's going to come like a nice 8th inning 2 RBI hit to put the staple in the coffin. Nail in the Did I just say staple in the coffin?
Yeah, nail in the
Nail
coffin.
in the coffin. Ooh, I don't know where that came from. My brain's fried today.
All right. Thank you all for watching. Oh, we got to talk about SeatGeek. What are we doing?
Oh, we could not forget that.
SeatGeek, they're the best. We're going into season number 4 of the Bell Ringers podcast. And it's all been through SeatGeek. They're the best. You know them. Link in the description. If you use code Philly Sports Report, Colin, you save $20 off your first SeatGeek purchase. Again, that is Philly Sports Report. What are you doing? What are you doing with the S?
Hold it. Throw way up into the nosebleeds. They'll be back open in a few days.
Michael Soroka, first pitch on Sunday. Schwarber is knocking that S out of Nationals Park. It's going to hit the W that's at the top of the second deck. You know what I'm talking about. You know that W.
It's going to land on Capitol Hill.
Thank you to SeatGeek for sponsoring. They're the best. Thank you all for watching and listening to the pod. We will be back sometime soon. We'll figure it out. But hey, follow us on the Twitter at BellRingersPSR. And follow Colin and I both on Twitter. Links in the description. Thanks, y'all. Go Phils. Next time we're talking about real baseball next time.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Woo.
Thanks, everyone.
This has been the Bell Ringers podcast on Philly Sports Reports, brought to you by SeatGeek. If you haven't already, please subscribe to Philly Sports Reports wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Follow the podcast on X and PSR on all social media. Also, consider leaving a review. Catch Colin and Benjamin's writing on PhillySportsReports.com, along with following both on X. Thank you to SeatGeek for sponsoring the show.